Hello, Coach. Coach, one question for you. What is like playing in your own country with a pro-Mexican crowd? Does that feel a little bit weird?
I think it speaks to the diversity that we have in the United States, and especially the culture around soccer, where there's a number of fans from all different countries, and they come to celebrate the game of soccer. And for us, we know it's going to be a great atmosphere. We know it's going to be a loud atmosphere, and we're excited about playing a final.
Greg, over here. Just in terms of the forward situation, do you think you've seen the best out of Flo yet? And if not, what kind of needs to happen to accomplish that? And how competitive now is the forward situation, given that guys like Haji are stepping forward?
I think that Ballo has tremendous qualities. And when you think about his movement behind the back line, his finishing, and it's not always, easy against very, very compact opponents. And I think the question is asked referencing probably his last couple of performances when we're playing against a very compact Trinidad team in Austin, a very robust, compact Jamaican team the other night. And that's difficult for any striker. But with him, his movement, such good quality running behind the back line, really, really good when he gets his opportunities in front of goal. And that's just hard to come by sometimes in games like that. Yeah, I think all the guys, when you look at Rico, the role that he's playing with his club, always coming in and being the joker who comes in and makes his goals, and then Haji, who's having a fantastic season. I was just referencing that he scored a couple goals in the championship before he came over, plays a Premier League side and scores against them and has an assist. And the other night you see he scored 2 goals and not only scored them but took them in a really, really good way. Great awareness in front of goal and then great finishing. So it's a great problem to have informed strikers. And, to think that even guys like Brendan Vasquez and Josh Sargent aren't here and they're doing well also. So for us, it's always a good problem to have.
Hey, Greg. I saw your comments the other night about playing against a 5-4-1. When I look at the next few games, obviously Mexico in a final, we know what kind of game it's going to be. Yeah. Brazil, Colombia, probably not going to be playing in a deep block. Are there things, though, that you can do, that you can work on when you're in camp here and that you want to see applied against Mexico that can help you to kind of find those moments, find those keys on the attacking end of the field for Copa America when you face opponents that play you that way?
Yeah. Don't forget that my partner's back. We got questions for him also, right?
All
It's
good.
been a while.
Good for me.
Paul, that's the great, soccer question is how to break down a really compact, low defense when all 10 players are within 10 yards of each other and their start positions top of the penalty box. And we have to be better. We acknowledge that. I think the players acknowledge that. I think there are cues and tools and movements that we need and combinations and guys engaging each other and passing to each other. So there's definitely, work we can do. And, for us, the priorities was surviving, advancing, getting to the final, trying to win another trophy together. And, we will have time pre-Copa to work on things, an extensive period of time. And, the guys, like I said, after the game, I think their mindset, the resilience in the group was strong. And you can see when we got into that overtime period that we were really, motivated and firing on all cylinders to win the game.
Tyler, I'll ask you one. Just curious your recovery, how it's gone, how many minutes you feel you can play. Greg, how many minutes you feel Tyler can play, and just overall the recovery of the team. Obviously, took a lot out of you the other night.
His answer is going to be 120. I know it already. So
I don't even need to answer then.
Hi. Here. Hi, Greg, Tyler. For both of you, there's a feeling that Mexico is coming to this final with a better momentum than you guys because of the way the semifinals were played. Do you guys feel that way on how you feel about your momentum and Mexico's?
We talked after the game, and I said how difficult these games are. And of course, Mexico goes out and wins 3-0. But I think the key is if the the dominant opponent, in this case Mexico, if they score early, I think then all bets are off. But I think the longer it goes, that it's 0-0 or the underdog is winning the game, like in the case of our game, these games become really, really difficult. And Mexico, give them credit. They scored 2 goals in the first half, and then were able to cruise and got an early goal in the second half. And but for us, every game, like I said, every game has its own story. And we know this is a final. We know that we're trying to get our 3rd trophy in a row, and we're highly motivated. I mean, the guys are chomping at the bit and really want to compete in this game.
Hi. You're obviously working with a group of players that you've been working with for some time. They started off quite young, or not to suggest that they're old now, but there's been a lot of talk about this group's potential. Do you think they've reached it yet? And if they haven't, what do you think the potential of this group is, and how long do you think it'll take to get there?
It's time. Time will tell. That's the thing about everything, right? That you have big events that can help define who you are as a group. I think this is a big event for us. Copa America is going to be a big event. World Cups are big events. And one thing that I was extremely proud of this group is to see the growth from, going through qualifying and then the performance of the World Cup. It was a young team, but they played, almost in a mature way, and I think played really solid at the World Cup. And now it's how do you take that next step? And it's just going to be continued development at their clubs, continued development when we're together, and using milestones like this to continue to push the group.
Greg, Paul Kennedy. Going back to the 2021 Nations League Final, Gio's played 4 Nations League games and has been really outstanding each time. Is there anything specific about the tournament that's allowed him to be that way? And also, could you speak generally when he's playing well? What are some of the things that stand out and are important to contribute to the team in that way?
For me, it's his timing, his touch on the ball, his final pass. All of those things are really outstanding and next level type qualities. He has such a feel for space and how to give the ball to his teammates in ideal situations. I think that's what I'd say. It's like sometimes people make the pass between the lines or behind the line, and it's just off or it's on the wrong foot. But he always finds the opponent in their ideal situation to make the most of the opportunity. So I think that's a really strong quality of his. We can see in camp, his growth in certain areas of the game that, we believe that we said all along he could be a midfielder in a 4-3-3. And for us, it's the press after loss, the defensive work that we've seen a lot of improvement with. And you think about both of the goals come from him winning balls in the midfield and then making that final pass. So, for him, it's continued to adapt. You can ask Tyler about the jump to the Premier League, and for every player, it's different timing. But, he's getting used to that, and we've already seen a growth in him.
Hello, gentlemen. Francisco Villalobos from Televisa Univision. One for Tyler, one for you, Mr. Berhalter, please. Tyler, at the end of the day, playing in this venue, and what it means to the city, what it means to this country, it has to be something exciting for you as a human being, something that you dream as a child. I was wondering, you could please comment about, as a human being, what it means to you to play in this beautiful venue, full of fans, regardless who they cheer for, but what does it mean to you as a human being? And Coach, you guys cut a little bit too close last time. I'm pretty sure it wasn't part of the plan because it was literally to the last minute. We would be talking about a completely different story. I was wondering what kind of lesson does that game gives you guys? And do you count with everybody in your staff, your players, are they all healthy or not to play on Sunday?
Yeah, as a Giants fan, playing in the Cowboys Stadium is something special, I would say. Everybody knows that the Cowboys is America's team, but it's a beautiful venue, and we know that we're very fortunate to play here. Having an opportunity to play in another final and raise another trophy is something that is very valuable to us. There's 3 guys on our team that haven't won a Nations League Final yet, and we want to go out there and get that trophy for them. So to do it in front of a home crowd in the U.S. is special.
Yeah, for us, I think we paid the price for, a moment of not being tuned into the game in the first 30 seconds of the game, and that made it extremely difficult for us. And, we wouldn't have scripted it like that, but I also think it's good for this group, good for the growth of this group to have to endure situations like that. And I think gain the confidence that we can endure situations like that. And now, again, that we put that game behind us, we learned from it, and now it's about a final. Everyone is fit, everybody's ready to go, so we can pull from a full selection.
Right here, Coach. Mariano Sanchez from US. Coach, Jaime Lozano, the Mexico's coach, said that the pressure for winning this title is on your side because you are the reigning champions. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that pressure?
No, for us, it's an opportunity. The pressure, I think Mexico played a great semifinal, as we all said. And, so the pressure may be on them, right, to repeat that type of performance. But for us, it's just about, we see this as an opportunity for this group. We see this as an opportunity to create a legacy for this group of what we can achieve. And, we take it, we love the Nations League. We love what it represents.
One for Tyler and one for Greg. Tyler, you've played in a few of these U.S.-Mexico matchups and you seem to get up for them, as it's easy to do. What is it about these matches that just kind of seems to bring a little extra out of you? And Greg, how is this Mexico team how has it changed under Jimmy Lozano, and what kind of different challenges will this version present compared to last year?
Yeah, these matches are always a dogfight. We're always familiar with a lot of the players on Mexico, so I think that makes it a little bit more of a rivalry as well. But we know how much quality they have. We know how much quality we have. We know the talk and chatter behind, who's going to be the best team in North America, and obviously we want to continue to represent that. And yeah, defend our title. I think that's something that's super important to us. Since Nations League has started, we've obviously come notorious in 2 occasions, so now we want to repeat it for a 3rd time.
Yeah, and I think Mexico has a good team, good quality. You see they're a little bit more direct with this coach. A lot of diagonal balls, a lot of balls behind the opponent's back line. They got speedy wingers, but we have a lot of quality also. And we have guys that have played in big games and get up for big games. And, I expect us to be ready to play.
We're going to take some virtual questions as well. We'll start off with Steve Goff. Go ahead.
Silly. For Tyler, what have you seen over the last couple of years in the evolution of this rivalry? Has it gained more intensity? Is it different than what you experienced a few years ago when you were first coming into the national team or with the junior national teams?
No, with the junior national team, I would say it was honestly exactly the same, because you watch the games growing up of USA, Mexico. You see the intensity of the games and how everyone takes it personally, how they want to win every single duel, score the winning goal. It always means a little bit more in these games. And since my first game with the national team, it's been the same. And, I think when we were coming through the national team, they also had a younger generation coming through the national team. And as we kind of grow and develop at the same time with them, it continues to be a big competition. So, yeah, we're always up for it. We know how much quality they have. But again, we're always backing ourselves in these situations, and we know how much quality we have as well.
Arch Bell, go ahead.
Hey, Tyler, Arch Bell from Concacaf.com. Take me back to Denver 3 years ago, 2021 final, kind of the first signature win for this generation, this new generation of players. What are your memories from that night, the emotions you felt before the game, and then after that incredible win? Just kind of take me back to that and what stands out in your mind about that night.
Yeah, a lot stands out about that night. I remember substitutes playing a really big role in that game, obviously with it going to extra time. But we had a lot of players step up in big moments, make a lot of big plays, and that's what these games are all about. At the end of the day, you have to have guys that aren't afraid and aren't backing down in the big moments, want the ball in tough situations, make big tackles, big plays. I remember Ethan obviously making an unbelievable save on a penalty to keep us in the game, and it's about staying in the game at the end of the day. We know how much quality we have, and we're not just relying on the starting 11. There's going to be guys that come off the bench and play a big role, but the team camaraderie that we have, no one's disappointed when they're not starting. They're just ready to come in the game and make an impact.
Henry Bushnell.
Thanks, Greg and Tyler, for your time. Greg, this is a bit of a random one, but you said after Thursday's game that you heard somewhere or read somewhere somebody questioning why Gio got called into camp. Where did you hear or read that? And I'm also curious why you felt compelled to mention that.
No, I think it's just an example of, when you look at what we're doing, how difficult it is, what we ask these guys to do every week. They have to work for their clubs, they have to perform at this type of level at their clubs, and that they come in for us, and they have to perform great for us. And it's a lot. And I think sometimes, it's about defending our group and standing behind our players. And, this is an example of where, okay, things haven't worked out exactly the way Gio planned them when he was moving to Nottingham Forest, but that doesn't take away from his quality. That doesn't take away from what he brings to our group. And, we've seen it all fall. We saw it last summer. We see it all last fall, his quality that he has. And I think, that's all it was. It's just saying, all he does is talking on the field. And he showed why he's that important to the group. And that's why I thought it was worth mentioning.
We'll take a few more from Zoom. Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Thank you very much. As always, Andrew Jones for Believe Network. For you, Tyler, what's been your favorite moment of this rivalry before you try to add maybe another one for tomorrow night, you being a Giants fan in AT&T Stadium? And for you, Greg, facing off against Memo Ochoa, again, just your thoughts on him and trying to get another past him or a few past him.
Yeah, no, my favorite memory of the rivalry is probably the Nations League Final in 2021. I thought that was a huge step for our group moving forward in a situation not a lot of us have been in and playing in such a big final. It was a great experience for us. And yeah, now we know what it's about. I think we know how to handle the pressure in those situations, staying patient, understanding our roles as a team and what we need to do, and especially not doing too much, because I think in big games you can see a lot of teams become individuals, but we stuck together in those moments and yeah, we grinded it out.
And for us, I think it's about the collective, as Tyler was saying. It's not just about the starting 11. It's going to be about our solutions, the guys that come on, the rest of the group, the guys that don't come on. I thought last game they made a massive impact. We're hoping for that again. And it's going to be about the details in this game. Set pieces will play a big role in what happens, the outcome of the final, concentration in key moments. And most importantly, I think just being able to endure the ups and downs of how the rhythm of the game goes. It's not always going to be perfect, and we're just going to have to endure and keep going and have the same resilient mindset that we've had in the past.
Kyle Bond.
Thank you, guys, for your time. Greg, you in the last game moved Weston McKennie to right back at halftime instead of Tim Weah. What was the impetus for that at the time? Just something we haven't seen before. And is that something that could potentially be, I don't want to say an emergency option going forward, but just something to consider in the future, or was it more of a one-off thing given the situation?
No, I think the way the game was going, I mentioned this after, we had 80% possession, and the way the game was going, it was going to be about offensive. Defense wasn't the priority at that stage. So for us, we wanted to put Gio on the field. So you have to take a midfielder out to put Gio on the field. And then it was logical that we'd move Weston to right back instead of Tim and putting Weston at right wing. So, it was just an offensive move to get a little bit more. Joe, we see him as, the defense more, say, 60 defensive or 70 defensive, 30 offensive. And it was a move to get more offense on the field.
And we'll close out with Megan Swanek. Go ahead, Megan.
Thank you, and thank you both for your time. My question's for both of you. Kind of carrying forward that question from Arch Bell, thinking back to the first Nations League trophy that you guys lifted in 2020-21. Are there any key ways that you guys feel this team has evolved or grown since that first trophy that you lifted over the past 3 years?
Yeah, I think that we've become more patient. We understand our roles a lot better. I think around that time we were still, developing our identity and style of play, whereas now we're more flexible. We're able to adapt on the fly a lot more. But again, that patience thing is a huge thing. I think in the past, if we were to play Jamaica and they were sitting really deep, we'd be trying to force things nonstop, whereas we had the belief in our side that a goal would come and then we would be able to dominate from there. And when you look at the best teams around the world, they continue to suffocate you and pin you in for 90 minutes. It's never a goal in the 60th minute, and then they defend. So for us, it was about continuing that patience, and yeah, we got the win in the end.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, just to see the individual growth of our team since then has been really great. You know, when you think about a guy like Tyler, you know, now he's a family, as a child, and he's, you know, an adult. And it seemed like they were kids back then, even though it was only 3 years ago. But there's just been so much personal growth from our guys, both in their personal life and professionally, that it's been great to see. And from the collective, how the group has gelled and merged and come together, and how I think key components of the group have emerged over these years and taken leadership roles within the group is another nice thing that we've seen over these years.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Tyler. That concludes the press conference.
Thank you.